Welcome back, kids and coaches, to your favorite podcast on the planet, the Briones Pickleball Podcast. I am your co-host, Caden Niemoff. Joining us today is your host, per usual, Jordan Briones.
What's going on, everybody? Caden, it's good to have you back in the studio.
It's nice to be back.
Yeah, he's been traveling all over. I know that. We'll get into that. But on today's podcast, we're going to talk about
a lot of good stuff.
We got summer plans, kind of for the both of us,
Yeah.
and we have we're going to talk about the historic match on the center court there. So Caden got to play Ben and Collin. We'll talk about that. It was a close one there.
Was indeed.
And Yola Gen 3.
Oh yeah. What are we doing?
Controversy.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot going on. We got a lot to get to today. But Caden, why don't you give a little update to the viewers of what you've been up to, and where you been at?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I just recently played New York. But before I get into New York, I was rocking my fresh new Avalon gear.
Ooh.
These new white. So just give it a little feel. Give the sleeve a little feel right there. Ooh, that is buttery soft right there. But yeah, new Avalon tees are out and they're online, so make sure to go check them out. But yeah, I just spent the last week in New York. I actually went a few days early because I just absolutely love New York. Every time someone tells me why I shouldn't go to New York, they always say, "Oh, it's dirty and it's expensive." But what people have to remember is I'm from San Francisco, so it's just as dirty and expensive. So like, as someone,
you're right at home.
I'm right at home, exactly. And it's honestly, I love New York. So I went out there for 3 days before the tournament, just to
talking about
APP New York. Yeah, I went a few days early. I have a buddy from high school, actually my best friend from high school, who now lives out there. And is an actor and trying to make it on Broadway.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, while I was out there with him, just got to experience a lot of the great New York food. Caught a Yankees game, caught a Broadway show called The Outsiders, which I hadn't realized it, but once I was, like, sitting there getting ready to watch the show, I was like, holy crap, I've read this book.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a book, it's a movie, and now they have a Broadway show on it. It was incredible. I have the song stuck in my head. Right now, I'll sing it for you if you need me to.
We'll pass on that.
Okay, I thought you would. And then I played APP New York. Played with a guy named Caden Seward in it, and we got 10th. So top 10 finish. Not a bad day. We went 3-2 in the bracket. We won our first, lost our second to Jack Monroe and Mario Barrientos, who ended up winning the tournament.
Did they?
They won New York, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
And Jack has been a partner of yours before.
Ex-partner, correct. Still one of my best friends in pickleball, though.
Who was silver and bronze?
Silver was Eric Pilette and Ben Newell. Good team. I will say for this tournament, one side of the bracket was super stacked and one side was a little bit weaker, and I was on that super stacked side. So a little unfortunate. Went to the back draw. And ended up losing in the match right before the 9th place finish. So we got 10th.
All right. Well, that's APP New York. We're going to get into your PPA.
Yeah.
Just differences, Caden. Just, APP, PPA, we know there's two different tours.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like playing better? And what do you obviously the talent differential is wide. Right,
yeah.
I would say I don't know if you would agree with that, but also like what?
Yeah,
what do you,
it's
what
slightly
like
different.
Playing?
I will say one thing that really, it doesn't bug me, but it definitely is something that you have to kind of adjust to. Is that the PPA and the APP use different balls? So the Vulcan ball compared to the Franklin ball, not huge in difference, but the APP Franklin New York ball that we used is super soft. So it was hot and it was toasty.
Oh, it was hot.
It was warm, yeah. And so that ball was just like it was like a marshmallow.
What degrees?
It was in the 80s.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, but out there it gets a little humid. So yeah, I was dripping sweat out there. I think I drip more sweat out there than I do out here when I play.
Yeah.
But Yeah, ball's a lot softer. And then, of course, I was using the Gen 3, so then I had to switch to the Gen 2. So softball, softer paddle.
Because of the plan, which we'll get to.
Right. Just a little bit of an adjustment, but it wasn't really anything too crazy. I do really like the PPA and the APP. They both do a lot of things right. There's always room for improvement, but I really have no preference in terms of PPA or APP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah. Well, I've been busy. We got a lot going on.
Oh, we got a ton going on.
And summer plans. Let's just talk about that.
Yep.
I don't know when this is going to air. Probably, actually, this is probably going to air when I'm already in Boise.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go.
we are packing up for the summer.
Yep.
Not the full summer, but 8 weeks. June and July, we're going to Boise, Idaho. And if you haven't been there, it's actually a really nice place. And Caden,
I'll get
you'll
to experience
see
it in a little bit.
Yeah, but it is cooler than here, and
Thank God.
we're excited about that. It's getting into the hundreds here in Arizona in May. It's gonna be climbing up.
It's been hot.
I
can't lie.
It's gonna be climbing up slowly.
I've been back for 2 days, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So summer plans going there. We are going for a family trip / teaching trip. So we have a couple 5-day intensives
Coming up. One in June, one in July.
One in June and one in July. Actually, we'll see. But if you are interested in a training for us, I think we have about a couple more spots in the July. And if you're between 425, kind of 4.5, that kind of level, and you really want to take your game to the next level, we have a couple more spots. And if you can't make it in that one, we're offering and doing more 5-day intensives throughout the year.
Yep.
Caden and I together
Woo!
as a coaching team.
Let's go. Look at
So
us.
So we're super excited to offer that for those of you who've been watching this channel, maybe thinking about training, developing your game, especially if you're playing tournaments or you feel like you really want to get better.
Yeah.
Maybe you plateaued. We would love to see you.
It'll be a great experience for all. That's for sure. I think honestly with the intensives, like people ask me, it's hard to tell people how much I love the intensives without sounding like I'm being biased, but just as an instructor, teaching the intensives are so rewarding, not only for the student, but as the instructor as well, because you really do get to dive deep into pickleball, unlike any other clinic, Trust me, I've taught for Level Up. I've taught at a lot of different camps, and there's nothing quite like an intensive. So I know that sounds a little bit biased coming from me, but I absolutely love it. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, dude. So we're super excited. If you would like to sign up or inquire about a 2-day or 5-day intensive in the future, make sure you click the description below.
Hit us up.
Actually, right before that, Caden, you're actually going to New Mexico.
Correct.
To teach a couple of clinics, actually with Augie Guh.
Correctamundo.
Rising Star. So really good friends with him. I'm sure you're excited about that.
Yeah. We're skipping Dallas. So Dallas is this week, PPA Dallas. I love a lot of the tournaments. Dallas is one of probably my least favorites in terms of stops for the Pro Tour. But it's nothing to do with Texas. It's the fact that it's Rockwall, Texas, because it's called the Dallas Open, and this tournament's in Rockwall, which is like an hour and a half from both airports. So it's just a little chaotic. It's not as
little out there.
Yeah. But we're skipping it. We're going to go teach in New Mexico. It's going to be me and Augie Guh. It should be a lot of fun. So
awesome, man. That's really cool.
We'll be there for the weekend.
That's really cool. For those of you who, don't know Augie, he's a rising star, I would call it. So,
the next big thing.
And he's a great guy.
We call him Og Dog back home,
Okay. Back home here in Arizona.
Yep.
Okay. So we got that. Let's talk about upcoming tournaments as well too. You're going back to the Bay Area.
Back to the Bay, in the Bay.
So there's a PPA in Sacramento, and I know there was Sacramento, California, which is the capital, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. Sacramento is the capital of California. You should.
From California.
Correct.
But yeah. So PPA Sacramento. I think this is the first PPA because I know there was APPs there.
Correct.
But that's
the
interesting.
PPA has never been in the Bay Area before.
PPA in the first PPA in the Bay Area.
Correct.
So that's really cool.
That'll be really fun.
At Lifetime, who are you partnering up with? What do you got for that?
Yeah, so I am going to be playing with Blaine Havernier, who is a pretty recently signed PPA player. He's a great dude from the SoCal area, and Texas area. Tennis player. I think he went to UCLA.
Really?
I don't know how much he played at UCLA or whatnot, but I think he was a part of the team and whatnot. Okay. Not sure what his minutes looked like, but he was a former tennis player. Great dude, great player. I'm really excited to play with him. This is actually kind of like my last tournament of the last 4 or 5 tournaments that I've played, where I'm kind of just trying new partnerships out, just kind of see what I like and whatnot. And then after that, I'm probably going to be playing most of my tournaments with Onik, which will be
nice,
a lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and we're gonna talk about the Onik partnership coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so PPA SAC, we will...
sorry. I'm also playing with Michelle Esquivel for mixed. I can't leave Michelle out. She's a living legend of the sport. You know Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
We go back
way back.
Pretty far.
We go way back, yeah. So I've known Michelle for a long time. Originally met her just through teaching pickleball. And she's been a great friend of mine. Her and Rob Cassidy are some of the greatest people on the planet, and I love hanging out with them. So I'm excited to play with Michelle.
All right, dude.
So Blaine and Michelle.
Super awesome.
PPA SAC. And I get to be back home.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know? So that's going to be early June?
First week of June, yep.
Early June.
And then I get to, I'll be staying home a week after in the city in San Francisco with my familia.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I can translate. That's actually family for Spanish.
Yep, if you guys didn't know that. Yep.
Just letting you know. Multilingual here.
That's right.
Multicultural here as well. Okay. Caden is known for being Chinese and not white. Right?
Bingo! No, only half.
Only half. Okay, so let's get to the Ben match now. Let's talk about that.
Oh, really
quick here.
This was a tough match.
Look at this.
Still have nightmares about it.
This is Caden here.
Oh, what'd it do?
With Onik.
Yes, sir.
Little open stand serve there.
Banging.
We got a little... high five action.
Oh yeah.
This is Collin Johns in the corner here. You can tell he's very, very happy. He just lost that point.
Yup. 9-9 in the third game right there. Oh yeah.
This looks like a third shot drive actually,
That's
Caden.
exactly what it's looking like, a third shot drive setup for a big poach winner. That's what I'm saying.
Your face is a little interesting there.
We don't have to look at that. We'll maybe just look at the shot, the lunge, the balance,
but those are good to look at. Yeah, I mean, look at wide stance. If you're just listening to this, we're looking at some pictures on center court when Caden Nemeth played with
Onik Lohani.
Yeah, with Onik Lohani against the Johns, and we're gonna get into that in a second. Little forehand topspin volley there.
Oh yeah.
Scoreline though, again, so close yet so far, Caden, and we're gonna talk about this match. But this is actually, I believe, only the second time. Is this correct, Caden, that you got to play against Ben and Collin?
Correct.
So the first time it was with Michael Lloyd.
Correct.
And it wasn't a great game.
It was not a great match at all.
I remember. I think that he did a third shot topspin lob to end the.
And the first game, yeah.
Game.
I remember that as well.
Okay, so, but anyways, so if you're not, seeing this live, so we got the bagel.
Yeah, bagel in the first game
with the cream cheese. we got the Johns brothers, bageling guys 11-0.
Yeah,
and you guys come back to win the second game 11-7. And then the Johns actually squeeze out the third game 12-10.
Yeah, had match point.
So
had match point.
You had match point on serve, actually.
Well, we were down 3-9.
Uh-huh.
Came all the way back, made it 10-9. And then we yeah. Anyways.
Okay. So
Choked.
let's talk about that. So for those of you who listen to us frequently on the pod, you know that Caden and I do this for a living, showing you the things that we learn, instructional videos. We're here to teach you.
Damn
right. at the highest level, Caden, this is something we've seen, you working on your game.
Yep.
Working on your game, working really hard, drilling. And
I think I need some water. I'm going to choke again.
For these opportunities, though, to play the best of the best.
Yeah.
Now, we can get into if you think Ben and Collin played their best or whatever, but the reality is you had a chance. The reality is
you had a real
chance, up match point. Why don't you just give us just a little... So, like going into the match, second time you played Ben and Collin.
Yep.
I know that, just one of your personal strengths, I believe, is like I don't think you get nervous. So you live for these moments.
Hell yeah.
And
I love when the lights are bright.
Yeah, and I think you play best under those conditions. So why don't we just talk about how you're feeling, and then first game, second game comes around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just even mentally, how I want players listening to go into your headspace, how you're feeling after being bageled.
Yeah.
And just walk us through that process.
Yeah, I think it's important to prepare for what you're about to do, right? So I'm pretty sure I've said in previous podcasts before that one of the things that I started doing is meditating before my matches.
Yeah.
And it's not anything crazy where I'm saying any sort of crazy prayers or anything like that, but I just like to sit back, close my eyes, find my center of peace, and just be able to listen to my surroundings around me, and kind of just pinpoint what I'm hearing and what I'm listening to, just to keep my mind sharp while I'm doing it. And so that's really helped me. But also, like, going into a match like that, it's so easy to care more about how you look on the court than what's actually going down, right?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things that, I always, tell myself going into a match is, one, like, it doesn't matter who's across that net, right? You have to be aggressive and you have to play pickleball, If it doesn't work, hey, we can make adjustments from there, but you can't ever going into a match just expecting your opponents to miss for you. Like,
Not at
the top level, right? Yeah.
3-0 maybe.
Yeah, 3-0 maybe. But like at the pro level, you have to be able to make shots, and you have to be able to have shots that you trust to then use in that match.
I like that.
Right? So you have to trust yourself. You have to know, where you're most comfortable, where you're vulnerable, and just put yourself in a position to play at your strengths. And so my first match with Onik was against Luke Wasson and Caden Campbell. They're both PPA kids. They're, I say kids, they're 18, 19 years old, but
kids the most.
Yeah, right. And so they're good players. We just kind of came out firing. We played well, and we played our version of pickleball, which was playing the smart shot and then looking to be aggressive. And we found success when we were attacking first, so we kind of just stuck with that. And then going into that match with Ben, you can see it just by the score of 0-11, like, I think we were a little flat-footed. I think we kind of just wanted to, play good points and play smart points and work them and make sure, we could get something that was attackable. But at the end of the day, the Johns bros, like, the way they practice is they don't give you really anything to attack. You have to create offense. And that's where they've been able to be so dominant for so long, is where now players are starting to get more aggressive off the bounce with the backhand side, the forehand side. And if you can kind of create that kind of offense, you can be a little bit more dangerous against guys like that. So when it was live, I want to say one of the PPA, one of the things that they do now that's actually really cool is they like in between matches, they have like a mic next to the bench to kind of catch what you're like talking about and maybe some strategic things going on.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bummed that in the video that they posted on YouTube, they actually cut it all out.
Wow.
But when it was live on Pickleball TV, I think you could actually hear some of the things that we were saying, and a majority of the things that we were saying was like, hey, if we're going to lose, we need to lose our way. You know what I mean? We can't just stick in the dink and get beaten, with dink rallies. We need to be aggressive. We need to, put these guys in different places. We need to make them off balance. Like, we have to do something different. And I think that was the biggest kind of stepping stone between game 1 and 2.
Got it,
was like, we have to play our style of pickleball, and that's aggressive. That's looking to attack and to be aggressive in spots that they might not like. And we came out gunslinging in game 2 and pulled it away, and then almost had it in game 3. So
okay, so I really like that. I think, Caden, we'll see. And those of you viewers watching, maybe you can comment below if you would like to see this. Been really busy. I watched particular parts of the match, especially that last game, but it would be good to maybe go through the game at some point, and or the match, and kind of like look at strategy things, what you could have done differently, maybe for the viewers. So if you'd like to see that in future, maybe we'll have time in Boise to do that, Caden. But I think that would be really cool. All right, so you come out game 2 and you guys end up winning that game. Thought process moving on to game 3. Are you like, oh, shoot, I can't believe it? Are you like pumped up? Or are you, what is your thought process going into game 3 after the paddle tap there? And then again, we'll talk about the ending of game 3.
So game 2 into game 3, you want to freak out a little bit, but also at the same time, you have to stay pretty level-headed. Because, taking a game off of Ben and Collin is great, but, like, at the end of the day, the job's not finished, right? So winning a game off Ben and Collin, I'm sure that's, a big – I wouldn't say it's not a big achievement for me. That's something that I've been working for forever, you know what I mean? But also that being said, like, I'm not there to win one game. I'm there to win the match, right? So you have to stay very level-headed, and you have to kind of stick with what you were doing, right? Like, I find in pickleball so often you find something that works, and then for some reason you kind of just shy away from it. You want to do something a little bit different. You want to get settled in, and like you could see like game 2 to like beginning of game 3. I think we went down 6-0 at the switch. It was looking like we were going to get bageled again, right? And so like it's so easy to have something that works, say game over, go into a new game, and then just completely abandon what you were just doing, right?
Did you guys go more passive on 3?
So in game 3, we kind of just went back in the dink rallies again, and kind of just started working the point from like and not being as aggressive. And then once we were down 0-6 and we got the side change, we were like, what are we doing here? Like we need to get this thing going. Like we need to get the ball rolling. And so we kind of just started playing that fast-paced ball a little bit, being a little bit more aggressive again, and started to work, and it really started to give us momentum. And that last point was, I've played that last point over and over, the match point, the 10-9 point.
Like literally on screen or in your head?
On screen and in my head, at least 250 times.
Wow. How many times, huh? Okay.
I would say on my phone, I've watched it probably 70 times.
Wow.
Just that last point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where you sped it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll leave a link below. Shout out to the PPA for that footage. But you guys can see Caden play the Johns. But last point, you're up, I believe.
10-9-2.
10-9-2.
Yep.
There is a pretty extended dink rally.
Correct. That's a good point.
Yeah, and you get a ball that
kind of like thigh high.
Yeah, like it's not the greatest dink in the world.
No.
But it's basically attackable.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you decide to do? What's your thought process? And kind of just walk us through that point and then to the end.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of big points that players have played against Ben and Collin.
Yeah.
Where, they play it the exact same way I do, and they take that last ball that I sped up, and they probably just dink it back. And that's fine. But in my mind, like, when I saw that ball, like it was very much a green ball that like, for me at least that day, where I had taken that ball multiple times and hit that ball for winners.
Yeah.
Right. So I saw that opportunity, and in the in the quick millisecond of me seeing that ball bounce up towards my thigh, I was thinking, I'm not going to lose this point just by dinking a ball in the net. I'm not going to lose this point by dinking this ball wide. Like, I'm going to dink this. I'm going to win or lose this point by the shot that I choose. And that's the shot I chose. And I went kind of for Ben's left shoulder and was hoping maybe like I could kind of dip it in a little bit, but I just hit it a little bit too hard at the shoulder, and Ben got to just kind of watch it go like 1.5 feet long. So
so they got the side out after that.
Yeah.
And then how did those last 2 points, remind me, how did those last?
So they were down 9-10. They got an easy point out of me on a fourth ball. I took a fourth ball here that I kind of tried to go inside out on, and I just put it in the tape. And then Onik tried to speed up cross court, which probably wasn't the best timing for a speed up, and Collin kind of just kind of mishit a counter, and it just kind of went down at my left foot. Then we saved a match point, and I hit an overhead at Ben's face, and he wasn't too happy about that. And then the match ended on a hands battle that I lost. Ben sped it up, I countered, Collin countered, and then I countered one more. He got it back, and I got chicken winged. And
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So so
can you tell I've watched it a million times? I know exactly what happened.
That's good, man. That's good. I mean, I probably would know exactly that too. So Caden, after playing them now twice, obviously that was a lot closer. What do you think about their game tactically that day? How do you think they played? How do you think they what percent not effort, but I mean what do you think their game plan was going in, and how well do you think the Johns played?
I definitely don't think they played that well. I think we kind of kept them on their toes, but I wouldn't say they were like, I mean, Ben and Collin usually get to kind of walk through their first like 2 matches. I don't think they were expecting us to come in, especially after bageling us the first game, to be like, oh yeah, these guys are really going to challenge us and whatnot. They definitely got more focused and got smarter with their shot selections going into the third game. Like, Collin was very aggressive in the first game, and Ben was very aggressive in the first game, and they were kind of going at us. And then as like the points started to get a little bit tighter, like Collin only dinked. Ben only dinked unless he got a ball in the air. Like, they really weren't like, and you can tell like most first rounds, they're kind of just like horsing around, hitting shots off their toes and still managing to make it work because they're that good. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it was cool to kind of see them.
They lock in,
and then also have to take a timeout, and like, because they do this thing. And Ben's actually talked about it before, but Ben and Collin, whenever the other team takes a timeout, they stay on the court, and it's kind of like holding, like we call it in baseball, holding the mound, right? Okay. Like you'll see a pitcher, like when a pitcher is like about to pitch, and then the batter calls time. Usually the pitcher will step off the mound. Okay. Right, because batter call time, the pitcher gets time too. Before the next pitch. But some pitchers, like when a batter, calls timeout, they'll just stand on the mound and wait until the batter gets in the batter's box again.
So it kind of rushes them.
It kind of, Like in a way, they're kind of just like, oh yeah, like we're good. We don't need a timeout. Go ahead, take your timeout. We don't need it.
Got it.
Yeah. And so, kind of just like stealing momentum from them and having Collin call like a frustrated timeout. That was kind of fun, and seeing them go sit on the bench, and I'm like, for some odd reason though, it was kind of funny. They called the timeout, and somehow, some way, they were still outside. They were still waiting on the court longer than we were.
Okay, all right, cool, man. Yeah. All right, so I forgot what I just asked you. I asked you. So that's what I did. I asked you about how Ben and Collin played.
Yeah.
And you said the third game that they definitely picked it up. You can see their shot selection and choices. So you said Collin became Collin.
Yep, Collin kind of just went back into that consistent, and then,
So it's interesting.
I don't miss.
Yeah, it's interesting that they, that they locked in. I mean, not interesting. I mean, that's what's called for if they have to win that match.
Yeah.
So any main takeaways from you, Caden, like experiential wise, like mentality, and also, when you have another big match like that in the future against a top seed or something like that, what are some takeaways for you?
It's important to, trust yourself, trust your partner, trust your equipment. One of the biggest things that I've talked a lot with Augie about is, when you're playing on the tour, it's great to be, friends and nice with everybody, but as soon as you get on the court, like, you have to have kind of a killer mentality. You know what I mean? So one of the biggest adjustments that I've been trying to make, while playing is like, hey, like, as nice as I can be, like, in a way, like, I want to be a jerk on the court. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win. I'm here to, I'm here to win big matches. I'm here to compete. And, it's nothing personal. I'm here because I have a job to do. You know what I mean? So, just trying to take it a little bit more seriously in terms of like, hey, like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to kick butt.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Kick major butt.
Yeah,
so,
I like it. Speaking of technology, we'll get to that.
Yep.
But, so you've been, you're kind of not in limbo. I don't know what the word is, but you're trying out some different paddles right now. Currently.
Yeah. Currently unsigned.
Pro
pickleball is expensive. So if any of you guys are in the market for a pro who does pickleball for everything.
So, you're testing a lot of paddles.
Yeah.
You've been with Selkirk, for the past year, and it's been great. And you have, I've seen you hit with the Pro XR.
Correct.
You've hit with Yola's a little bit. I don't know what other paddles you've hit with, but
tried a few different companies.
Yeah, so that's what you got going on right now, and we're playing with the Gen 3 Yola against Mr. Yola himself, Ben Johns.
Yep.
Where was that the Scorpius? Wait, what were you playing with?
I was playing with the paddle. I was playing with a paddle that was designed by the guy in front of me, Collin Johns.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a 16 or 14?
16.
Okay. So 16.
14 is Anna's.
Got it. 16 millimeter Collin Johns edition, Gen 3. We just reviewed that not too long ago on our channel.
Yep.
And now there's a lot of buzz, and we may be talking about this in a future podcast specifically, but obviously they got banned recently.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so there's a lot
of
of
the USAPA.
A lot of controversies happening with that.
What are your thoughts on the Gen 3s? Do you think they should be banned?
I kind of see both sides. I kind of see, the game getting quicker and quicker. And we talked about this in the car. There has to be some limit on pop and power. Obviously.
There is. Yeah.
Well, there is, but I don't know. I feel like it could continue to get moved, and I just feel like they might have to just think of different ways to test things a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, obviously me and Jordan Yeager, or Jordan Yeager really is reviewing all the paddles on this channel. So we'll just have to see. But my thoughts is, games is getting faster. But that being said, the paddle that we're using against Ben, you had some hands battles there.
Yeah.
And obviously with that paddle, you have extra pop. There's some heat on that paddle off your counters. What do you feel just about the ban, and what are you going to be kind of just experimenting with of this next, until we find out what's going to happen with the Gen 3s?
Yeah, I mean, well, first things first, I've actually really liked the Gen 3 for the time I've been using it, which hasn't been really that long, but I think it's a great paddle in terms of power. Obviously the hand speed it helps just, being and having a little bit more in the paddle to help you out. But I would also say, like, because I'm using a 16 millimeter, that I get a good amount of dwell in the paddle as well, which allows me to absorb and kind of soften the ball up too. So I would say it's overall a very good paddle. You know, and I was telling Craig, like, hey, like, if you're someone who's not signed, like, you know, like, why would you, you know, at the pro level, why would you not try and use it? You know, unless, of course, it's not, and that's the thing, right? Is you hear so many, oh, it makes this player so much better. Yes, I have seen people, you know, become, you know, better players using that paddle, but it's not just the paddle, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, you have to find a paddle that enhances your game, right? And so the Scorpius that I've been using, I really like it because it's a shorter face. I like a smaller face. The handle is longer, but it's not too long, right?
Yeah.
And it's got a great mixture of pop and control, you know, and that's exactly what I want. I want that a slightly poppier paddle that still has a little bit of control because, like I said, I like the control. The pop is what I want, right? So, you know, I would say for me, that paddle has really helped me with kind of like my game and whatnot because it fits everything that I'm looking for in a paddle. It doesn't mean everybody's just going to be able to pick up that paddle and say, oh my God, I'm a 5-0 now. Yeah. You know, but I will say I have seen people who, you know, have specific shots and maybe they weren't really as consistent as they were until they got that Yola. Yeah. So, So I also have some Arizona friends out here that I play with that have not stopped crying since I've picked up that paddle. So you know who you are.
Well, yeah. So we'll keep you updated on that. Obviously, big controversy there. Now the Johns ended up getting beaten. In that tournament.
By Matt Wright and Federico.
New
partnership.
By Fed and Matt. And is that a solid partnership that we see?
Or
is
I don't
that just
know.
a one-off kind of thing?
I don't know how solid it'll be. I know Federico's playing a few different tournaments with a few different people. He's actually playing one with Augie.
Is he?
I don't know which tournament exactly.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow.
But Federico and Augie are gonna play one together.
Team.
Yeah. So I think that'll be really good. I think Federico's gonna probably try. I mean, he's a good enough player where he'll still be able to get good partnerships.
Yeah.
You know, even as he's kind of just figuring it out.
Yeah.
It's very different, you know, Federico looking for a partner than me, right? But like, but yeah, I think he's gonna try out a few different types of partnerships.
Okay, so obviously, you know, I don't have a tally on how many times the Johns have been beat this year. It's got to be at least 3
or 4, I would say.
So just want to talk about that. We mentioned it. Now the Johns have been so dominant, you know, the past how many years now?
2-3 years.
2-3 years. And I still, obviously, you know, number one team. They're still dominating and still winning the majority of matches. But we are seeing them getting beat more and more often by different kinds of teams. What are your thought processes, or what are your thoughts, not thought process, what are your thoughts on that? And also, you know, why do you see that happening? Why are we seeing a little bit more losses? And do you think that they need to kind of switch anything up? Like not jumping to Ben and getting a new partner, but do you think they need to do something differently, or you think it's just something the other teams are catching on to?
I mean, when you've been as dominant as the Johns brothers have been over the last few years, every sport is going to develop. You know what I mean? And I think there's so much tape on the Johns brothers and what they do so well and how they've been winning for so long that, you know, when there's so much tape of them out, you can watch that and you can study that. You know what I mean? I'm not here saying I've watched every single Ben and Collin's match, you know, but you know exactly what they do and exactly why they win. Yeah. You know what I mean? And even when Riley and Matt first started playing together that one year, right, to kind of challenge them, and they did every now and then. There were times where Matt and Riley were just firing on all cylinders, and it was working, and then they won. Yeah. Right? And then
they got beat pretty badly for the rest of the year.
And then they got badly, and then they got badly beaten for the rest of the year. And then even the next year, right, they went into year 2, and it wasn't working, and that's why it broke up, right? But like, I think the couple times Matt and Riley beat him, it was because they were just more aggressive on him,
Yeah.
And I think that's a style of play that, if you're playing well, it can do damage on them. You just have to go out there and do it. You just have to execute it. You have to pick good spots. You have to focus on your precision. You have to be 100% focused and in the match 100% of the time. You really can't slack off in a match like that against the Johns brothers, because if you do for 2 seconds, or you care more about one thing than the other thing, it's not going to work.
All right. So the second question I kind of alluded to, what do you think? Do you think they need to change or develop anything in the game? Or do you think that players are just getting – well, players are getting better.
Players are for sure getting better.
But what do you think of their game? If you were to analyze from a coach's eye their game, obviously nothing to panic about.
No.
But what do you see?
I would say, obviously they do 99% of things perfectly. You know what I mean? They do things really well. But it was funny because, like I said, first game they killed us.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Collin was doing really well was he was speeding up.
Interesting.
And he was speeding up at me with disguising speed ups.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he bodied me on one and maybe another one, but he was speeding up, and he was speeding up well and with deception, and it was hard to read.
Yeah.
And then in that second and third game, he kind of just stopped. So I would say, being a little bit more aggressive, because at the end of the day, those guys' hands are so good. If they speed up first,
exactly.
it's not like they can't clean it up. You know what I mean? So I love their idea of hey, we can trust our patterns, and we can make them decide to do something stupid, and then we can kill them. But also at the same time, with those types of hands, why not just try it here every now and then and see if it works? I don't know.
Yep, that's exactly right. As I study their game, and that's the thing that makes it not tough on them. They can beat 99.9% of players with the same exact game plan.
Exactly.
It's tough when someone's attacking you all the time, and your counterattacks have to be on point because the patterns are going to be shorter.
Correct.
Sync patterns are going to be shorter. So that's really interesting. But yeah, looking at it from a coach's eye, I would like to see Collin get a lot more aggressive, particularly off the bounce.
Yeah.
We see Ben working on a two-hander speed up, but honestly, it's Collin, he should be doing the same thing. I'd like to see him dink off the bounce, or attack off the bounce on the backhand side from the middle, and maybe Ben doesn't have to come over as much at certain times. But that's what I see. This was my whole gripe with I don't know if that's the right word, but with JW, back in the day, his hands being so good, and really him letting kind of Dylan initiate.
Yeah.
JW's hands are probably one of the fastest in the world. So even if JW started, speeding up, I thought man, he could clean up his own mess all the time. So, but that is the thing I'm going to be looking at. It's going to be really interesting to see, obviously the role that they play where Collin just is a backboard.
Yeah.
Let's Ben dictate works well.
Right.
But I think if they can, we're just going to have to see. Just going to have to see. But really the game plan and the game style is they let you attack first, and then they counter punch.
Right.
Unless Ben can attack.
Right.
But it's not against the high level players. It's not like Collin is taking his chances or anything.
No.
Speeding up the ball.
No, I know. Yeah.
He
used to be a lot more aggressive, in my opinion. And then I think at a certain point, Ben was kind of just hey, we don't even need this stupid shit. So, I didn't say anything there. Ben said it. I didn't say it. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I think Collin should look to be more aggressive. He was eating me up on it. Eating me up on it. There were 3 balls I think he sped up at me, and I don't think I think my body touched more of the ball than my paddle.
All right.
I'm serious.
I'm going to have to watch that first game then.
Yeah, first game was hideous. And I made a bunch of dumb mistakes too, honestly, in that match. So, one of the biggest takeaways, that Augie mentioned was like, hey, dude, like, I watched your match back and you played great. You still made a lot of mistakes, but like, you made a lot of mistakes and you still had match point on the number 1 team in the world. Like, there's a lot to be pleased with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
So, I'm hungry to cut out some of those mistakes and be more consistent and be better. I have a line tattooed on my body and it says, I'll be better than I was. And that's exactly
Did you get that tattoo?
What?
You just got, wait, what? You have a line tattooed on your body?
I have a tattoo that's
saying that?
Saying that on my body, yeah.
Oh. Where, on your leg?
I can't tell you where it is.
Wait, are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh
It's on my leg. Yeah. It's on my leg. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Boy, oh boy. Okay. So what we got is, thanks for sharing your experience. How was it playing with Onik?
Oh, I love playing with Onik. That was our first time. That was our only tournament that we had kind of committed to. And, like I said, there's been 4 or 5 tournaments in a row where I've played with a different partner just to kind of test out different partnerships, see what I like, see what I don't like. And dude, I mean, I got to warm up with Onik the day before the tournament, and like even just our reps and our practice games were super good. And we were super comfortable and confident together for literally first time playing. And so I think there's a lot to grow off of. The only thing I wish Onik lived out here in Arizona. So
where is he from?
He lives in Minnesota. So he gets to kind of play with the Alhouni brothers, Mota and Mo.
They good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Both PPA guys, they're brothers. And then, Minnesota has a couple other guys and some good women out there too.
Yeah.
Sammy Lee, Tyler Hong, Mini Ninja, Jen Tavernier. They have some good players out there. Okay. So, cool, but yeah, we've now committed to I want to say 4 more at the tournament at the moment. I want to say maybe 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Might play San Clemente, and then we got Vegas, Atlanta. There's another Atlanta tournament, and then Kansas City. So yeah, we're gonna try and run as many as we can because we're also under the same agent, Peak Agency, and so, but yeah, our agent came out and watched our match and came out for the week, and he was like, dude, like it would be stupid for you guys not to play together again. Yeah. So
might as well see how far you can go. Huh?
Just got to build on it now.
I like that.
Just got to build.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's all I got. Caden, anything else you want to let the viewers know? I know this is a shorter pod, but we will be, or at least I will be, in Boise very soon. So stay up to date with all of our content. We have a lot of teaching videos coming out, a lot of match play videos where I'm commentating coming out, learning videos as well, strategy, technique, and stuff. Anything you got, Caden?
I am playing PPA Sacramento next weekend, the 4th to the 9th, I believe. And then I actually will be back home in the Bay Area in San Francisco the week after. So if you guys live in the Bay, I'll probably be in the city playing at local courts again. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys out there. My sister is graduating from dental school, so congratulations, Mac. You suck. Yeah, we'll see you guys very, very soon, all right?
All right.
Deuces.
See you, everybody.